Hello all, welcome to another Dragon Warriors livestream. We rampaged through the first adventure of the Elven Crystals last session. A little bit rushed at the end because we were right there and it wouldn't be worth splitting it into two sessions. But we did miss a few bits and pieces here and there in the woods, which is probably worth going back and doing. So it might be a shorter session tonight and a bit more sort of combat explory, sort of set piece sort of stuff, but we should still manage to have fun with it. So after retrieving the Elven Crystal, or the first shard of the Elven Crystal, Keradin, the sorceress, retreats into one of the semi-abandoned buildings of the town to delve into research into local history and lore. You're celebrated by the town and sort of rest up to heal your wounds and take advantage of the horrible ale. The innkeeper's daughter is understandably traumatized by her experience and takes to her bed, but seems to be growing better day by day. And the presence of the crystal seems to have lifted some of the dire atmosphere that has been hanging over at least the town, if not further afield. The few sort of remaining trees blossom into life properly, instead of that feeble display they were putting on when you first arrived in town. The well water no longer tastes as bitter and brackish, and you could swear even the ale that's already been brewed has improved slightly in flavour, just not much. So something positive has happened, but the villagers have been coming to you over the last few days while you've been sort of resting on your laurels and feeling better, to tell you other tales about things within the Gallows wood. They think you've dealt with Ned the Hobgoblin. Maybe you'll be able to see what else has been going on there and to deal with it. So they tell you that the Duke's Black Riders are often seen through the woods. Nobody wanted to go into the woods anyway, but the patrols of the Black Riders often caught out travellers who were going through the woods. And now that the woods are a little bit safer, they would like to be able to go back in, start maintaining them properly, getting nuts and berries and wood to burn and fix up the town and all the rest of it. So if you could chase some of them off, they'd be happy, but there's no single place that they can point to. Black Tower you never got to. There are tales about that some kind of evil creature or ancient magic lurks within, and they would like you, if possible, to clear that out. So then they could maybe turn the tower into a watchtower, and keep an eye on the woods in case the evil doesn't stay away. Now, you met the woman in the hut who warned about her husband. And when you checked the wood pile, it was full of hacked up people. So there is some kind of cursed or insane woodsman out there that needs stopping and a woman that needs rescuing. There's tale of an old Celentine Empire villa. When it was built, it was on sort of cleared ground that was used for farming. The forest has since reclaimed it. But it's said that the villa has things lurking in it as well that could need clearing out. And then maybe the villa could be rebuilt into a hunting lodge. And then harpies are frequently seen spiralling like carrion crows over the woods. If there's a nest of those foul creatures, they'll need dispatching. And on the river that you crossed, there's an island which the dying member of the Cunning Folk told you about. And on that island is an old monastery, and she told you that was overrun with the undead. So, just to recap, I think there's something I missed as well. So just to recap, there's a Black Riders, but if you run into them, you run into them. If you don't, you don't. There's the Black Tower, with some unknown evil lurking in it. And
A tower with evil. A
yeah,
pillar with evil.
and they want to turn it into a watchtower. There's the psycho axe murderer, who was called Nut, you think, if you remember correctly from the woman. There's the ruined villa.
We can always turn that villa guys into hunting lodge for weirdos. Remember that?
There's a this is the one I forgot. There's a magician's grave, so they tell, in the forest. He picked a place to die, drove his stave into the ground, and it turned the air around it poison, to prevent anyone from looting his corpse. But when the wind is coming the right way, that poison wafts across their fields and poisons their animals. If there was some way to cleanse the magician's grave, that would be appreciated. Plus, magician's grave might have something useful.
Was that magician called COVID by any chance, Jim?
No. And there's the ruined monastery and the harpies. So, do you fancy taking on any of these challenges?
Hell yeah. I'm up for all of them.
When we killed old Ned and rescued Clothild, was there much booty in his lair?
Yeah, I did spread that out amongst you. There was gemstones and stuff, which I just converted into florins and spread out because it's easier. There was the Elven crystal, obviously. A couple of potions. I rolled up what they were and put them on your sheets. There was some medium poison, which I think I gave to our assassin friend. And there was a suit of magical ringmail, which I gave to Becca. So it's the same armor rating that you've already got, but it's lighter and easier to move in.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's not so much a question of like how much we can do, but like what we can actually do in one session.
Yeah,
as well.
How big is this
I phrased that really shittily.
How big is this crystal?
The crystal's about a meter and a half long once it grew back to its normal size.
All right. Is there any specific color?
When the light shines through it, the apparition of the old ancient elven mage appears, and mouths the words Darien, Castle, and Crystal. Now, Duke Darien is the de facto ruler of the area, but he seems to be a rather cruel and distant ruler. He's also the one behind the ghosts that charged Brother Abbas to avenge them.
Do we know what actually made them evil, by any chance? I'll ask aloud. Do they actually know what made them evil?
Darien. Opinion amongst the townsfolk is divided. Some say he was born that way. Some say it was cruel ambition that twisted him. Some say he must be possessed by a demon or some other spirit. Whatever the cause, he's an evil old sod.
My type of guy. Well, I'm going wherever the rest of the party's going, so I'll let Tin Man, aka Celine, decide our fates. Where are we going tonight, Celine? Any ideas?
I think that we should prioritize what helps these people the most.
Sounds like a plan.
The Duke in the Black Tower seems to be a priority.
Yeah, but the thing is at the same time is if we go into his domain, we could be surrounded not only by his Dark Riders but also his own forces and that. So it would be a bit uncomfortable, if you understand. It'd be a bit of a tight squeeze. But if you want to do that, I'm up for it. Yeah, I'm up for it.
Perhaps sorting out his Black Riders first. And
We don't go to them; they come to us. So do we actually? I'll ask the villagers. Do they actually know? Do they have like a random time or schedule when they turn up? Is it nightfall or is it day? Or
They're usually seen at night, always helmeted, riding, sometimes with big hounds running along with them. They usually don't leave the forest, though they may range on the road that runs through it.
right. So far, what we've seen on the road has been that carriage with the horses, not
Yep.
with the riders. Right.
There's also the case of the huntsman. We cannot leave that poor woman to her fate.
True.
The townspeople need saving, but to forget like even a single person intentionally is just cruel.
I agree.
Yeah, I hope you go back and rescue that poor woman from her own fate.
And
You're
then
going to challenge your husband to a one-on-one fight then, Sally?
and then there is that poor old woman we pulled from the gallows. She needs to be avenged as well.
That would be the
True.
monastery.
Oh yeah, the chalice. Yeah, the monastery. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why do we do it in order? Forest first, then six
Well,
at that.
all of this stuff is in the forest, so
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right. I think we should do the giant first. Get warmed up.
The what? The what?
The cannibal. The giant. The woodsman.
Oh, the woodsman. Yeah, that's the.
He's a big fella.
well, yeah, you know the path to the huts. You can go there quickly, and he's just one guy, so hypothetically you should be able to finish him off nice and easy.
Yeah, but do this like a massive big gang act. Unless
Do you think it would be permanent to try to, rather than kill him, apprehend him? If his wife is telling the truth, he is bewitched. So killing him would be.
did we sense any lies or half truths or truths from her when she spoke, Jane?
That would be Brother Abbas.
Well, from what she told me, she said her husband had been driven mad by the woods.
So there's something in the woods which has made her husband go schizo.
Pretty much. That's from what I could learn from her. That's all she really said.
And the only thing which we know in the woods which makes people go is this plague which the wizard so-called has got up round his grave.
The whole land seems to have fallen under a curse. There's no telling whether it's any one specific thing or not.
Quite possibly. I concur. Yeah.
So we would be looking at restraining this axeman rather than killing him, with a view
mean
to
subdue?
Yeah.
If possible, but if he puts in a situation where it's his life or ours.
Well, yeah. But ropes and nets, or we'll have a very angry wife to deal with.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Did it still seem that she cared for him, or was she just scared of him? Was she bruised? Was she knocked about? I mean,
she didn't look like she'd been thrown about, but she did seem more terrified than anything else. But even so, if he goes ranging in the woods, which it seems that he does, she had ample opportunity to get away, but didn't.
And also, if he just she did say he just tend to like wander around the woods on his own a lot. So we could just randomly encounter him on our travels. It's entirely possible.
But it still doesn't explain why she would cut people off and put them in the pot. Okay, let's take this giant then. Let's go looking for the Sasquatch.
Yeah. Is everyone agreed on that as the first course of action?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could we ask the villagers if they have any like ropes or nets or anything we can use?
They're in from the coast a bit, but they do a bit of river fishing. The river nets aren't really the kind of strength that you'd prefer, but they got some ropes. So if you can grab him and tie him up, that would do the job.
Or a quick blow to the head to render him unconscious.
Yeah.
And then tie him up. Seems like a plan.
All right.
Okay.
I'll carry a rope. And did I have a chance to get any extra daggers in my travels up to this point?
I don't think I remember to put it on your sheet, but you can have an extra dagger or two. Yeah.
Nice. Cheers.
Secreted about your person. All right. When do you want to leave? Sort of dawn, midday? What sort of time do you want to head in?
I would say dawn.
I'd say dawn as well.
Okay. Right. The woods seem a lot less oppressive now. A lot more sunlight seems to be filtering in through the leaves. It's the trees are all still twisted, and there's a lot of strange mushrooms and twisted growths everywhere from the long abiding effects of the curse that's lain on this land. But still, somehow it seems less evil, less oppressive. You hear more birds singing than you did before, and of more kinds. Though the crows in their rookery peer down and caw at you, the same as they did before, as you make your way past. Right. Doesn't take you too long to arrive back at that hut in the woods. Here it still seems dark and dank, and the mist that has lifted from just about everywhere else is still clinging to the bushes and the sides of the woods here. You can hear a repetitive, wet, chopping sound coming from behind the hut, and muffled cries for help, or not really as articulate as that, but someone terrified beyond their wits.
Oh, he's already here.
We should act quickly.
You shall in.
Go as fast and silently as I can around like a semicircle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give Caridin, Cesora, the net, and run out sort of like a safe-ish distance from the hut, but like to draw his attention towards me.
Okay. Just give me a second.
So you want me to climb a tree, in other words?
Well, let's make sure we got the plan sorted.
I assume there wasn't any sort of like time to plan, because like we can hear somebody screaming.
Well, yeah, it depends if you want to let them get chopped up as well or not.
So that was just like really quickly, like, here, take this, and then I just ran out.
Okay.
Right.
So I always forget to note down your reflexes before we start.
So do we assume he's murdering some poor woods folk as we speak?
Could be right.
It would seem likely.
Let's rush in there and distract him.
Okay, so the plan was for Elaine to run off in a separate direction to draw his attention. And what were the orders you gave the others?
I just gave Cesora the net and sort of like waved, like, go around, but didn't tell him anything specific because there's not enough time to plan.
Cesora and Elaine have the highest reflexes, but Cesora's in lighter armor, so Elaine sort of starts to move, running off in one direction. What do you want to do?
I'll get in a position where I can chuck the net, and at the same time as keep an eye on what's coming and going within the camp.
Okay, so you attempt to creep around the other side of the hut What's your stealth?
22.
Okay. Roll a d20, tell me what you get.
5.
Okay, yeah, you sort of slide along the wall, keep low, get the net sort of shaken out, ready to throw. Right. Then Alain has it away on his toes, making as much noise as possible, which is easy in plate mail armor.
So yeah, I sort of run around the side of the cabin, around the other side of it, behind it. But giving like enough space between me and him that like we're not confronting one another yet. I just want him to pay attention to me.
Okay. Yeah, so you charge around there and you look at him. So he's got his big wood pile. He's got even more wood chopped, but he's in sort of mid swing on a pilgrim by the looks of them. Blistered feet, what you can still see of them. Hair shirt, the whole 9 yards. But he's busy hacking them up with a practiced hand into pieces. And there's another pilgrim tied, bound, and gagged next to the one that he's currently hacking into bits.
So I just bang my shield and yell out to him, "You there, scoundrel! Why don't face the person who can actually fight back?"
The axe comes down in one last swing and sort of severs what's left of the arm to the shoulder. A little chunk about so big, maybe 6 inches. And he stops and looks across at you. His face is twisted. His nose is ridged up, almost like a boar's snout. His teeth are jagged and crooked and stick out of his mouth at weird angles. His left arm is much bigger than his right, and the muscle of the shoulder almost seems to join onto the head. He's been twisted and changed by something. But he spots you, yanks the axe out of the corpse, and makes to follow. And it's his initiative next. So he lumbers after you. But you were keeping at range, so yeah. He's just he's almost in swinging range of you.
I'm sort of changing my mind on the subduing him plan.
Dead, subdued, meh.
How tall is he?
How tall is he? He's about 7 foot, but he's hunched, so if he stood up straight, he'd probably be more like 8 foot tall.
Fuck me.
Alright,
That is one ugly motherfucker.
yeah, Becca's go.
All right, brother Abbas, come with me. We'll try to rescue the other hostage.
Okay, so while he's distracted, you're going to move up past Caesura with the hopes of getting to the hostages. So
I'd have thought, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to cast Dazzle on the big man and try to at least stop him a little bit.
You could do when it gets to your go, but for the time being, Becca's moved up. Right, Madrock.
I want to try and lasso him. I don't know if that's feasible or if you need to be skillful for this.
So with one of the ropes, yeah.
Yeah.
You can try.
Or if that's a bit too exotic, just have it skipping rope and flip it over him and try and restrict him while he's attacking the lane.
I think you can try that. What's your attack?
It's 11. I'm naff.
Right.
I don't think I'd be able to calm him down with honeyed words.
No, that probably wouldn't work. Actual honey, maybe. Okay. If you roll a 1 to 4, you manage to get the loop around him.
Okie dokie. Nah, 10.
Okay. You swing out the rope as best you can. You've seen people do this to calves and things before. But the rope doesn't even really reach him because he's launched himself towards Elaine. Right, Brother Abbas.
I'm going to try and cast Dazzle on the man creature.
Make a psychic strain roll.
20, isn't it?
Everyone's clapping up.
So under 15.
Okay, did you get under 15?
12, yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, you're not psychically exhausted, but the dazzle spell goes off. Let me just find the effect of that. Sorcerer's Mysteries.
I've got it here, James.
Okay.
Gives them either gives me a chance to escape my foes, or I can make one free strike while the opponent's dazzled, making them a -8 on the defense.
Okay, so just make him -8 on his defense until the next
lasts
turn.
a full combat round. Yeah.
So, there's a bright flash of magical light in front of the guy's eyes, and he stumbles and tries to blink it away and figure out where you all are, but he's just kind of swinging wildly. Right. New turn. Scizora.
How high up is the roof on this hut?
It's built like an old sort of Viking long hall, so the roof goes all the way to the ground, so you can easily run up the side of it, really.
Yeah, because I was going to climb up on the roof and chuck the net on them.
Okay. The net's an unwieldy weapon, but you've got a height advantage. Take 3 away from your attack and roll.
Attack 17. Wish me luck, guys. Smoke me a kipper for breakfast. 4.
4.
Yep. Okay. My attack 17.
Okay, so yeah, that's a success. Okay, right. The net lands on top of him as he stumbles and swings around. And tangles in around his arms. So he's now blinded and entangled.
Excellent.
Right. Elaine.
I'm going to turn my sword around.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like half holding it, half swording it.
Yeah.
And try and club him across the head with the pommel.
With the pommel. Okay. Make an attack roll with no penalty.
I always forget to open up the dice roller. 4. So yes,
That's a hit. Okay, roll an armor bypass, even though he's not wearing any armor. So roll a d6 because you're using it as a club.
Okay. Ah! Come on. Just use an actual dice.
But it is your magic sword, so you still get to add your magical bonus to that. So actually, it's just going to get past his armor anyway. Okay, roll a d6 plus 3 for damage.
Rolled a 1.
Okay,
Oh,
so
for
4.
fuck's
Well,
sake,
you
no.
weren't trying to not kill him, so you know.
Oh, that is useful.
Yeah. Okay, you smack him in the face while he's swinging around. He's hunched down a bit lower, so he's in reach. You smack him in the face with the pommel. It seems to rebound off some thick bone in his skull, but it does seem to send him reeling a little bit more. He grasps hold of the net in both hands and rends it asunder.
Excuse me?
He tears the net in half.
Oh, right, okay.
The back door to the hut opens up, and his wife comes out, holding her aprons up in one hand and wielding a carving knife in the other. Becca's go.
Is the wife near me?
She came out the back door, so yes, she's come out next to you and Brother Abbas. And Madrock.
Fear not, lady. We are here to help. We will not kill your husband. We will try to cure him, get him and you out of this evil place.
Okay, she just sort of stares at you, open-mouthed, surprised at what's going on.
I said, brother, free the hostages.
Okay. Madrock?
Somewhat intimidated by the neck tearing. I'm still gonna try the
rope.
Rope. Can I? Is there something I could attach it to and then do like maybe a run around the legs? Oh no, that'll take more than one round. But
yeah, you could tie it to one of the beams of the hut or around one of the heavy logs, and then wind it round his legs.
Sweet, I'll go for that.
Okay, so you tie it off quickly.
Yeah.
You're a thief type, you know knots, so yeah, that's not an issue. Right, Brother Abbas.
I'll cut the other hostage free.
Okay, yeah, you sprint over there and cut through the bindings. They start crawling away through the bloodied mud to get away from him, clearly hysterical. Right, and the dazzle effect wears off. Okay, Caesora.
How far away is he from me?
You're like directly above him on the roof of the hut still.
Right. This is going to hurt more than it's going to hurt me. I'm going to turn my blade around, so I'm using the handle of my short sword.
Yeah.
And jump down, and as I'm coming down, crush him with my pommel of my short sword.
Okay.
I'm going for his head.
Right, you don't have any defense this turn because you just dropped. But you can add 2 to your attack, plus 1 for being up high. So add 3 to your attack.
Right.
And roll.
Oh, you fucking bastard! I love this. You trying to empty this. 1.
Okay. So it's an automatic bypass of armor, but I think your weapon's magic anyway, isn't it? And you're using the pommel. So roll D6 plus the magical bonus, and for dropping down from the height, you can have an extra +1 to damage.
So that's D6 plus 2 then.
If you're using the short sword, it's a +3 short sword, isn't
it? Short sword of Valda, D8 plus 2.
Oh, plus 2. So it'll be D8, be D6 plus 3 damage.
Yeah, D6 plus 3.
Yeah.
Oh, here goes nothing. 5, 8 altogether.
8. Okay. Right. Yeah. You drop down from the top of the thing, slam the pommel of your sword into the crown of his head, and sort of drag down his back and almost half fall over. But he does sort of stoop and stagger, and there's blood now pouring through his hair and down into his eyes. Elaine.
Yeah. I'm gonna cosh him again.
Give him another smack on the chops. Go for it. He's used all his defense, so yeah, just under your attack.
Non-lethal slap. Yeah, I hit 9.
Are you stabbing him or are you clubbing him?
Clubbing, yeah.
Okay. So you hit. That's with the magic. That's going to get past the armor. So roll d6 plus 3.
5 in total.
5 in total. Okay. Yeah. So you clouted him once, then Caesora drops out of the sky and smacks him as he's sort of stooping from that blow. You bring in your pommel from the side across his temple. He staggers to one side, blood spraying from his hair, but he's still not down. It's just you're gradually sort of knocking him down into a crouch, but that's about all you're accomplishing so far. Right. Caesora, you weren't allowed to defend yourself because you dropped.
Yep.
He drops the axe, catches it again near the head, and swings it in at close range with one arm at you.
Ooh. Sneaky.
He strikes you. What's your armor rating?
Armor rating, where the hell are you? Armor type? No. Armor rating 2. Armor factor 2. Whatever that is.
Okay, yeah. Right, so the head of the axe bites into the headpiece of the lizard man armor you had made, knocks a few of the teeth out of it, and throws you up into the air and down onto your ass in the mud, but doesn't get through the armor to hurt you. You were very lucky. Right.
You don't have much health.
His wife's knuckles tighten on the knife, and she moves around and looks behind to see what's going on. Becca.
Muted.
Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
Sorry, fear not, lady. We have come to help. We will not kill you or your husband. We come to take you out of the woods and to cure your husband of this disease. I've got the weapons. I'm open-handed.
Yeah. No, she just sort of stares at the melee that's going on back there. Madrock.
Time for a harebrained scheme. No, I've got the rope tethered, you say?
Yep, you got the rope tethered.
Okay, this is the risky bit, so I'm going to have to run round him.
Yep.
And try and either... If he's that tall, it'll be a spur of the moment thing. I'll either go between legs and just get one ankle, which will make for an easier trip, or if I can get them both, because it's a lot more difficult to fight when your feet are tied together. So, would that be a reflexes or?
Just roll your straight attack this time.
It's actually the same. So, 8 made it by 3.
Okay, so you grab the end of the rope and sort of dive between his legs while he's battling with the rest of them, and then scramble back, pulling the rope tight, and it tangles around his ankle. What's your strength?
That's where it all comes unstuck. It's 10. Okay, it's better than I thought.
Roll a d20 and just tell me what you get compared to the 10.
Fuck beans. 12.
12. Okay, you haul on the rope, but it's not enough to make him fall over, but it will stop him running anywhere. So, if anything, you get kind of dragged through the mud as you're desperately trying to get purchase with your boots.
Yeah.
Right.
Why am I thinking of the scene from Star Wars Empire Strikes Back on Hoth here?
Right. Brother Abbas.
I will reverse my spear and try and clonk him on the head with the wooden part of it.
Okay. Roll straight attack.
Missed completely. I got a 20.
Okay, yeah, so you reverse your spear, then reverse it again, because it's obviously a USB stick and not a spear. And you get so caught up in making sure you're using the blunt end that you forget to attack. Right. New turn. Caesura.
Okay. Do I see the fellow companions struggling, pulling on the rope?
Yes.
Am I anywhere near that person to give them a hand to pull the rope?
You could scramble over to them and help them, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Okay, what's your combined strength, you two?
Well, my strength is 10.
Same here.
Okay, so that's 20. Okay, between you, hauling on the rope, you manage to fell him. He topples over and lands face first in the muck.
Yes!
Elaine.
Me.
Yes.
Now that he's actually down on the muck in the muds, I'm probably gonna I think, what would I do under the circumstances?
You saw that is
you
motherfucker.
If you can't keep hitting him on the head, eventually that's gonna actually kill him at some point.
It's not Iron Man versus the Hulk.
Just roll him over.
I'm just checking my gear. I don't think I have anything that I can tie him with. But I'm just gonna try and hold him down.
Okay.
To try and give these them time to tie him up.
What's your strength?
My strength is 12.
Okay. Right. So they've toppled him over. So you sort of spring forward and sort of wedge your arm and your shoulder down on him to try and hold him down. But he's bucking and twisting so much you get thrown off.
Ah.
Right.
Hit the mud. Splat.
Do the rogues have to do everything?
He twists round, sits up, and shifts the grip on his axe to the very end of it, and swings down and cuts the rope.
Right.
That could have been worse.
Okay. His wife screams in absolute rage, charges, and drives her dagger into her husband.
What?
Well, she's got to survive.
Don't get between a man and his wife.
Exactly.
Not expecting that.
Look at John Wayne Bobbitt and Lorena Bobbitt.
So he chops the rope and sort of moves to start getting up. Then she runs screaming towards him with her aprons in one hand and the dagger in the other. His eyes widen as the sort of... And then she drives the carving knife straight into his right eye, so hard it comes out the back of his skull.
Good lady.
Damn.
Job done.
And then she pulls herself back away from him with her hands over her mouth. You're all kind of stunned by this, and the giant picks himself up to his feet, sort of feeling around the knife. Winter's coming. Gotta chop wood. And then he topples backwards for the final time.
Right. As I was not involved in the melee, I'll try and rescue the pilgrim who was scrabbling off.
Yeah, they got as far as the edge of the clearing here, and then hid behind a tree, and they're just there, shaking.
All is well. All is well. We're here to rescue you. Come out.
All is not goddamned well. He killed Terence. He chopped him into pieces. He would have done the same to me.
This could be what you call a crisis of faith. I'm not familiar with them myself, but there you are.
What good is a god that can't protect you from some foul beast man in the woods? He tears his holy symbol from about his neck, throws it down into the dirt and stamps on it. I renounce.
Oh dear.
Crom laughs at them from his mountain. What do you care?
Madrock, go and chat with this bloke over here.
Okay. Well, after thanking the wife for saving my life, try and give her something else to focus on there. Okay.
You can calm him down, can't you? Can you do that?
I can attempt to do that. Yeah. I'm very, very atheist, but I have no idea about the character.
It's up to you.
Crusades. Yeah. So I'll play it on. So I'll go over to him and who do you think sent us then?
But this great hairy barbarian woman and a shady bunch of
Well, I think that comes under the mysterious ways thing, don't you? We arrived just in time to save you. Now, okay, Terence fell. This is unfortunate. It could have been worse. We could have got here while he's halfway through the job. As it is, you've survived.
But look how many bodies there are.
I know. And you was part, if not for your cries, we wouldn't have known where to find this and put a stop to it. You did a good thing here today.
And moreover, yes, Terence has passed. We shall bury him and give him reverence. But you've survived. So for what purpose were you saved?
This will require meditation. I assume there's a church in Erewhon.
Actually, a chapel somewhere in the woods. Or central
yeah, until you've cleared out the monastery, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, make him work for it.
Yes, I will go to the monastery and reaffirm my faith. Oh, it's full of the undead.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. I'm joining Team Necromancer.
Never said it for you.
Was there a ruined abbey in the town or something?
There's a ruined abbey on the island in the river. None of you actually got hurt there, did you?
No.
That was a close run thing.
No. The wife literally saved us. I think I would have been teased otherwise.
So you have two traumatized people. Do you want to return them to the town, or?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm more sort of like shocked about the fact that his wife ran out and stabbed him.
Well, she saw her opportunity and she took it.
Yeah, I was going to say, could I use my people reading skill on her to see if that was?
I suspect that she wanted to do that for a while, but was too afraid to escape.
Yeah,
we empowered her.
Yeah. She disappears into the hut and emerges with a little iron cookpot that looks like it hasn't been used for some time, and she presents that to Sir Alain.
I humbly thank you. So,
would you like to help it?
We did attempt at least to save your husband.
He's too far gone, and every day he got worse. I don't think anything could have saved him. He hasn't been the man I married for many a year. But here, this is some small recompense for a life renewed.
Then I humbly accept.
Okay.
And,
the pot jingles when you take it.
What are your plans? Do you plan to remain here? I highly do not advise it.
I'm going to burn this place to the ground. I'm going to go to Erewhon.
And she's going to get drunk and get laid.
That sounds like a very good idea.
I think we ought to escort you. There's still these riders to worry about.
Yeah. Well, if you'll give me time to just start the fire.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we could put Terence in the pyre too, so give him a send off.
Yep. And whatever remains there are in the woodpile as well, though they'll go unnamed, but at least Brother Abbas can say a prayer over the bodies and consecrate the fire. So you hang around for a little bit.
Are we chucking our husband on the fire as well?
Well, yes. While she gets everything organised, clears out the rest of her stuff, and piles it up into a big pile to carry. Sorry?
I'll check the corpse. I'll check the corpse.
He has an axe and a horrible smell.
I don't want the horrible smell.
Okay.
But how much is
not
that?
Another one anyway.
It's just a woodsman's axe, so it's a good, hard-wearing tool, but not a particularly great combat weapon.
Yeah, that's why it never took my noggin off.
Nearly. I'll get you next time, gadget.
In your dreams.
Right, she lights a few bundles of twigs, and why am I being cagey? She lights a few faggots and sets them around the place to set the thing on fire. And very soon the hut is burning, and it rapidly spreads to the wood pile and the sort of improvised pyre that you've put together. You stay just long enough to be sure that the flames are going to take and are going to burn everything, and then you can return to the town with the pilgrim and Nut's wife, who I probably should have given a name to. How misogynistic of me. But yes, you can return with them to the town and drop them off safely.
Nutella?
Widow Knut?
Yes, the Widow Knut.
Yeah. That's better. Yeah. Okay. I'll pay for her room for at least a week. And
Yep.
bed and board.
There's plenty of abandoned houses in Erawan, so she'll probably just stay in the inn a few days while she makes one of them, good enough to live in. At least good enough to live in through spring into summer.
And there'll be a pouch full of florins somewhere in her belongings she'll find in a week or so.
Very generous.
She won't know it. I'm not telling you that because I've got reputation to maintain.
The pilgrim disappears into the chapel, and the priest is just happy to have someone else there, so it gives him room and board, and we'll probably engage in theological debate with him late into many nights. Yep. So that's Nut dealt with. What were you thinking next? The monastery?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
What about everyone else?
Change of underclothes first.
I'll ask the priest in the village. You said there was a priest in the makeshift ruined abbey thing in the town hamlet.
The chapel in the village. Yeah, that has a priest.
Yeah, I'll ask him if he can bless my weapons. I'll give him a small donation.
Yeah, he can say the appropriate prayers and sprinkle some holy water on them. Yeah.
Thank you. That'd be my short sword down, my crossbow down, my staff down, my crossbow bolt down, all my weapons of war put down on the table to the bless one. And I'll give him. What would you say appropriate donation would be? About 50 florins? Would that be enough?
That would be most generous, my lord.
Okay, I'll give him 50 florins.
He seems more like a novitiate than a full cleric. He doesn't seem too confident in the prayers, but yeah, he does all the right things, says all the right words, sprinkles the water.
And I advise the others to do the same as well if we're going up against some bullies.
Does everyone else want to get their stuff blessed?
Nope.
Nope.
Coward.
Can't get myself to do it. Sorry. There's limits.
The things I'm going to do to monsters, I don't think God would want to be associated with.
I'm only doing it because I don't want to get jumped on by bullies.
Yep.
I'm taking a course.
Well, anyone who wants to, and will make a similar donation, can have their stuff blessed.
How long will the bless last, James?
Blessing will last 24 hours.
Well, I know they do it about 24 hours before we head out.
Yeah, whenever you're ready to head out again.
Oh.
The cookpot had a few gold coins, quite a lot of silver coins, and a familiar-smelling potion of healing stashed away in it.
Slash.
Delicious. Addicted to the taste of these.
Right, I'll take
it's
that.
just a shame they cost so much.
I'll take that. Because you've got the necklace, remember, Celine, which I swapped you for.
Perhaps Brother Abbas should carry it as the trustworthy man of the cloth.
I should probably purchase a rope and keep that with me.
Yep. Okay.
And use one of my many pouches of money.
Yes.
You're wearing plate mail. How can you have pouches? You're wearing plate mail for friggin' sake. God. Where's your pouches in that? God.
A baldric over the top, or attached to his belt, or
13 pouches of money. 14 pouches of money.
Most of them on the mule, aren't they?
Or have you got kinder pockets?
Someone's got to pay the rent on the castle.
Exactly. Right then. So, any other prep, or are you ready to go to the monastery?
Let's go.
Let's head out.
Do you want to go during the day or at night?
Dawn, first light.
Okay.
Catch them off guard. So if we catch them at night, there'll not that be many. But if we catch them during the early hours, they'll be off guard, and hopefully we can get a lot of work done and then come back in for the rest of the night.
Doing stuff at night never sounds like a good idea, ever.
Yeah, especially when Grim's running.
I mean, when
It's a bit
humans are
difficult.
involved, then doing things at
What?
night is good. But like anything like evil, like monsters and stuff, no, light time.
Mentioned the riders were nocturnal, wasn't it?
Yeah, or at least mostly. Right.
And you can't see harpies at night, I wouldn't have thought. So
Yeah. Right, so at first light, you make your way off into the woods. You know the path now, and the woods are a bit easier to make your way through. So it's about midday by the time you make your way to the riverbank. And with the sun burning down from the sky, the old abbey doesn't look too terrible. It's just this small island reaching forth out of the widest part of the river. It's surrounded by bulrushes, and there's a lot of matted riverweed, and a few early river flowers sort of springing into life around it. These crenellations of the chapel are all choked with twigs, where many crows have made their nests over the last few years. You can't really see any movement or anything, but it is completely overgrown with ivy and brambles and everything else. There's a small but large enough flat-bottomed riverboat sat on your side of the river, tied off to a tree stump, and there's a man sat in it with a staff across his lap and a grey hood, just seemingly sat there.
good sir, are you the ferryman for yonder chapel?
If that's where you're going.
It would be. How many does it look like this boat can take?
How many?
Yeah.
It should be able to take all of you.
Sweet.
He stands up, brushes some of the moss and stuff out of his cloak and draws it around him, and sets his staff into the water down until he hits the bottom.
Do you get much business here?
Here, no.
Yeah.
So where do you get your business?
That's the few villages that remain. The bridges are all fallen into disrepair and aren't really safe for a cart, so I ferry goods one side to the other.
What can you tell me about the monastery, friend?
The monastery?
Yeah.
Was an important place once. They have a chalice that belonged to one of the saints, or so it was claimed. It was a popular stopping off point for pilgrims on their way south. But then it wasn't. When the darkness fell over everything here, it swallowed up the monastery as well. The monks grew greedy. Story is, they began to murder the pilgrims for their money, keep the money, and float their bodies down the river.
So how many monks are we talking about on the monastery then, roughly about? How many in the priory?
God only knows if they're all still there. They probably fell on each other in their greed.
Right.
He looks out towards the monastery and strokes his grey-streaked beard thoughtfully for a moment.
See, this is why I didn't want to give them money.
I'd say perhaps a dozen, assuming not all of them survived. Though the story is, they're dead but not. All I can tell you is the bell for morning prayers still rings out every morning.
Bring out your dead. Did I say dead? I meant bread, sorry. My bad.
Did we hear them on the journey, or were we too far away?
You probably heard bells, but it would be hard to tell from there, which direction they were coming from, whether they were the bells from Erewhon or the monastery or somewhere else. The woods are still very uncanny. It takes a lot of concentration still not to get lost, and getting a sense of what direction anything's coming from is difficult.
Right then, ferryman. We require passage, all of us, to the monastery and there and back.
Perhaps if you would row your boat safely to the other side and watch out for our signal to row back to us.
As you will.
We'll pay you for your trouble.
You only pay for passage, sir. 2 copper each way.
Seems a reasonable amount. Yeah, I pay him.
So copper a leg.
Yes.
That's how it was done.
Right. So if you're paying him for there and back, so that's 4 each. So that's what, 20 copper. So that's 2 silver florins. Cheap at half the price. Okay, he puts the coins away in his belt pouch.
We could hop. It would be half the price.
Please climb aboard.
Yeah, climb up.
Yeah. The boat may be old. Its paint may be peeling, but it's pretty solid and barely sways as you climb inside. As you get inside, you see that the inside wood all around both edges has been intricately carved with knotwork. And once you're all in, he pushes away from the bank and starts to punt his way slowly across towards the monastery.
Okay. Ooh, eerie.
The mist thickens again as you start across the river. Can you all make perception checks at... Well, no, it's stealth versus perception, isn't it? Just roll d20 and try and get under your perception. And tell me if you succeed.
14. Nope. Probably because I'm watching the sky for harpies.
6, yes, I did.
Nobody wants a bad case of harpies.
6, yes, I did as well.
Okay. For those who succeeded, as you pass through this veil of mist that seems to be rising from the river, you see that it glows slightly, lit from underneath. And when you look over the side, you see a swollen, bloated, pale face with white, pupil-free eyes staring up from immediately beneath the water. It doesn't do anything, it's just rather unsettling. And as that one drifts away, another one seems to bob along just under the surface.
Have you been watching Lord of the Rings?
No.
No, not at all.
They're a lot more gross than the ones in Lord of the Rings. They're all bloated and swollen. As you watch a crayfish emerges from one nostril and climbs back in the other.
Ugh.
Guess why we call them poppers? No.
Nice one.
Right. He slows a bit on the punting and has to strain a bit more to push through the rushes. As he does so, great load of crows go up from the crenellations of the chapel and wheel around through the sky. A couple of them fly down. One perches on the prow of the ship, and sort of turning its head this way and that, occasionally pecking at bugs as they're stirred free of the rushes. The other one lands on the end of his punt and just sort of sits there while he's pushing. That's as close as I can get you.
Okay.
How far away from land are we, Jim?
You'll be knee-deep in rushes and muck for a short distance, but then you'll be able to reach the shore proper.
Okay, I'll jump out.
Okay.
Yeah, wait out.
You know I'm on the way. I'll get out. I'll take point, as always.
Okay.
It can't be that haunted. There's things growing here. There's wildlife.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect the wildlife.
Okay. You approach the abbey from the southwest corner of the island, climbing up through the rushes. Everything's massively overgrown here. The wildlife has gone mad. But once you get away from the shore, the material, the plants, they seem sort of stunted and yellowed. They're growing, but they're not growing well. And there's a brackish, mouldering grass smell to everything. There's an L-shaped building just ahead of you, a fairly small one, not much bigger than a stables. And then the main body of the chapel is behind.
Is there a high point on the island?
The highest point of the island is the chapel, which is at the sort of northeast portion.
We should clear out each and every building sequentially.
Well, if it's a relic they were guarding, wouldn't it be in the biggest one?
Which would be in the chapel.
Indeed, but the plan is to take the relic, but also to fend them all off.
And cleanse this place of evil as well, yeah.
Indeed.
No, just grab it and run. Dang it.
Grabbing it and running would be half the job done. We intend to do it all in its entirety.
Discreetly and by the numbers. Right, I'll start taking myself towards the smaller building, which is near Sir Sim.
Okay. Some small trees have grown up around the outside of this building, and they've inveigled their roots into the stone and the brickwork. So it's crumbling, but it's not fallen yet. The front door is choked with nettles. The shuttered windows, most of them have rotted off their hinges. The interior is thick with dust, but there is a path through the dust as if someone or something has been in and out of here quite a lot. It's just that everything else that's not on that path is covered in dust. Looking into the interior, there's a couple of more intact doors at the back of the building. And looking around the edge of it, there's a similar L-shaped building, almost identical, just a bit further down and in a similar state of disrepair.
Excuse me.
Well, that'll be the bell ringer's tracks then.
Is there any floors up, or is it just one level?
It's there's a hayloft, but other than that, no.
Right.
And the hayloft.
I'm sort of just following Caesura for now, but like as I sort of like near him, and sort of like can see what he can see as well, my attention is slowly fixating on the bell.
There isn't a bell visible there. It's almost certainly in the chapel tower, which you can see from here, but it's covered in all those crow's nests.
They did say that they rang the bell each morning for prayers, but if we cause too much of commotion, they could also ring it to alert them of our presence.
I thought I could climb up and put something over the clapper, depending on how big it is. Maybe wind a rope around the stem of the clapper to stop it from going if someone was to ring it.
Brother Abbess, where do you think is the most likely place for the relic to be?
Let me meditate on that, lady. So I've gone up a rank, so I'm trying to do my maths now. under 37, right? Just a second. Do you want me to roll it, James?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. 35, just under, yes.
So what was the question exactly? The vibe was for?
Where the most likely place the relic would be.
So if it's like a typical abbey with a relic, they will have a secure storage place for the relic where it will be kept at night. And during the day, it will usually be displayed for pilgrims or anyone else to come and see. So it'll either be in whatever secret place they have for hiding things, or it'll be in pride of place on the altar.
Lady, I'd say it's either, if we were here at night, it'd be in a secret place where they'd hide such a holy thing away, or during the daytime, it would be traditionally on the altar in the chapel for the pilgrims to come and see. So I'd say definitely in the chapel.
Perhaps it would be.
Yeah, let's check the high altar, shall we? Yeah.
Okay. So you want to carry on towards the main building? Yep.
Does anyone?
Well, I was just going to say, perhaps it's best to like clear out the buildings on the sides and then move in first, but be as quiet as possible.
Do you want me to climb up and nerf the bell?
You think you can? Maybe cut the rope?
Oh, I can climb.
You've still got to get a lot closer to the main chapel building before you can start thinking about that. So, but once you get close enough.
Yeah, but just needs Cesora or Marduk to do it. We don't all need to go.
No.
I think
if you're up for it, then yeah. We'll sort of like wait and keep an eye out.
Well, climbing's one of the few things I can do, and I've still got a rope, so that'll help.
Yeah. So do you want to do that then?
I'll give her a go, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, what's your stealth?
14.
14. And you've got a rank in the climbing skill, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You hurry your way through the overgrown, twisted plants and reach the side of the chapel, just next to what would have been the monk's vegetable and herb garden. It looks like it's being tended, but you don't recognise any of the herbs or vegetables, if that's what they are, being grown there now. From there, you can get up onto the roof and make your way across to the side of the main chapel. From there, you can get onto the roof there and very carefully pick your way across it.
Yeah. Speed isn't essential at this point. It's
so on the very roof of the chapel, it's full of these crow's nests and it's spattered with crow muck, but the crows have all flown off for the time being, so not too much of a problem. There's a ladder up from the chapel below, and then there's the bell sort of hanging semi-freely in a shelter. This at least looks in pretty good repair.
Well, if I can utilise the ladder, that would make things a lot simpler. But if not, then I will do the climb.
There's moaning and unsettling chanting sounds coming from below in the chapel, so you think the ladder's probably a bad idea. But yeah, you can wrap cloth around the clapper of the bell and muffle it.
Or while I'm up there, if I could just pull the rope up as well and just sort of pop it out the window so it's not within reach, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you manage that.
Sweet.
And then creep back to the others.
And give everyone the OK symbol.
Okay. And then carefully climb your way back.
Yep.
Just on it.
And if I get back before you guys move, I'll tell you about the noises I heard.
So they are in the chapel.
Yeah.
Right, let's clear the buildings that surrounds the chapel.
Okay. So you want to start with these two L-shaped buildings?
It's up to Caesar and Marduk on that one. Which Medrock, you're the stealthy guys.
I'll take the one on the right.
I think we'll both take the same one.
Yeah. Okay. So you creep together into the first building. So this lower level, below the hayloft, it's just a few sort of crudely made tables. Looks like the monks made them themselves and weren't particularly great craftsmen. So there's tables and seats, a hearth with a pot in it that doesn't look like it's been used in ages. There's a couple of bird skeletons and bits of nest that have fallen down the chimney. These appear to be guest rooms, and what you took for haylofts were probably just sort of common rooms for guests and pilgrims to sleep in. The second L-shaped house is the same.
But they haven't been slept in at all.
They haven't been slept in, but there are these sort of scuffed track marks through both houses. And they both go to the back chambers where the sort of little kitchens and sort of storage rooms are, but there's not really anything there, so it's hard to understand why anything would have come to and fro there.
How recent do the tracks look, Jim?
Can't really tell. It's just that these track marks, these paths, it's the only part that's been trod, and no one's been bothering to sweep up or anything for God knows how many years. Was it?
Did the woman you rescued from the ghouls say that she had been here or was on her way?
She said she'd been there, I think.
So that could be her tracks.
Possibly.
But there doesn't seem to be anything in either house.
And the other thing which is there was the main chapel itself.
She said she'd been here a long time ago, didn't she?
Yeah, and then had tried to return, but then ran into trouble. And those ghouls with the snap necks did for her. Okay, so were you carrying on scouting and the others trailing behind at a safe distance? There's another building that's collapsed into the river. It's impossible to tell what it was. There's just a few sort of brick pillars and at the corners of the building that's still standing. The rest's just tumbled away into the river and gotten choked with weeds and rushes.
Mill.
So there's a long sort of single floor grey stone building hallway sort of coming off at right angles from the chapel that's blocking off almost the entire island here. There's a few doors dotted along the side. They actually seem to be in reasonable repair. And then there's the monastery garden, and then the end of the chapel.
I'll point out where I heard the noise coming from, so we can localise that to a particular section.
So the end of the chapel that's projecting from the end of this section, if you imagine it like a T, then the cross of the T is the chapel running left to right, and then the building in front of you is the main sort of vertical bar of the T.
Try and get a look in through a window or a hole in the wall, something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of narrow windows, a bit of stained glass here and there. That isn't shattered, and ivy and that has been pulled away from the stained glass. Looking in through the window, you can barely make out. It's kind of distorted by the glass and the colour of the glass. There just seems to be array upon array of shuttered, screened-off sections with simple beds, wash basins. Must be the brothers' dormitory, but it looks completely untouched. There's a thick layer of grey dust over everything, spiders' webs everywhere.
Seems likely that they're all inside the chapel. maybe praying.
Morning mass.
Well, we've got a priest here. What would the times be for the services? 'Cause I know you've got matins and other stuff.
Now you're asking.
Sorry, right. We can just say prayers. That's fine.
Well, Becca doesn't know, but I have a clue. When
Let's see. Canonical hours. Vigil, 8th hour of night. Matin, a later portion of Vigil from 3 a.m. to dawn. Lords, dawn, approximately 5 a.m. Prime, early morning, first hour of daylight. Terce, 3rd hour, 9 a.m. Sext, 6th hour, noon. So it's probably the noon. Yeah, if there's a service going on, and if whatever lives here now keeps to the services, it would be the noon service.
Well, they're preserving the windows and the door. I mean, there's some sort of reverence going on, so I'm inclined to think there's at least one living person. Of course, it could be a psycho monk. So,
surprise!
The hearth's unused, though, isn't it? And there's the beds are unused, and the kitchen's unused.
I'm formulating a plan, but it revolves on what is exactly inside that church, and from the sounds of it, we may not have much time before they finish their morning their service and return to their duties, which means they will leave the hall. So,
how high up from the ground to the roof is it, James?
Of the chapel?
Yeah.
Discounting the tower, it's about 30 feet high, the main body of the building.
Is it flat, or is it pointed, or is it in a...
Pointed roof, flying buttresses, the whole 9 yards.
Any sign of any skylights at all on the roof?
When Madrock was skirting along it, he didn't see any skylights, but there was the trapdoor for the ladder in the tower.
Zora, do you think you could creep up to the roof and check inside?
You've got my idea, as I thought. Yep.
The others, I'll do that. Perhaps if we were to bar the doors to keep them inside.
I'm not going to bar them. I've not got any wooden beams on me.
You could wedge some of them from the outside.
Rope, we could tie the handles together.
Yeah. I'll do that, Jim. I'll do that.
Is that what you want to do then? So skirt around the building and block off as many doors as you can.
Now, I'm not sure I hold any great belief in this, but if your belief reflects the strength of this stuff, using maybe a blessed weapon to bar a door or place over a window I don't know if that would have any extra blocking effect if they're of the number.
Like a ward. Yeah.
Well, if you've got any spare blessed weapons you want to wedge into the frame, you can do that.
Well, I got all my weapons, my crossbow bolt, everything all blessed. So
I needed mine to. I need mine.
Okay, so that's really Madrock and Caesura on stealth duties then.
Right, how many doors are there, Jim?
There's 9 doors around the outside.
Right. Would a crossbow bolt be able to just wedge the door?
I don't think so. I have a rope though.
Yeah, but it's not blessed. My crossbow bolts are.
I have a rope that's like 10 meters. If I cut that in half, I have 2 5-meter length ropes.
There's plenty of loose bricks and pieces of wood, and you've got daggers and crossbow bolts. It won't hold for long, but you could wedge the door slightly with them. So,
right, I'll give a couple of crossbow bolts to Monkey Boy.
I'll assume that you've that you've mildly wedged all the doors around the outside. Yeah. So they won't open easily. They'll have to be muscled open. The only real challenge is the main front doors to the chapel, which are really quite big and imposing.
Would they need them for Sir Lane to open?
Yeah,
Well,
I was assuming that.
I mean, you'll need to leave one so you can get in, won't you?
or to have them funnel towards us.
Yeah.
If we can have them concentrated, it's got to be so easy. Even I could throw a dagger at them.
Well, I was assuming it had like double handles, so like I could just
Yeah, it
tie the
does.
handles together.
Yeah.
But Caesora, what do you see?
Do you see
Monastery.
what I see?
Right.
Right.
So, are you doing anything in particular other than blocking the doors while you're making your way around?
I'm having any opportunity I can. Can I actually prize in? Have a wee net?
Well, I uh I blah, blah, blah. I asked if you could climb onto the roof and have a look through the trapdoor to see what situation is in there. Specifically,
Yeah. Okay.
if the relic is in there.
So,
Okay, I'll have a butcher's.
so we'll say
After
you.
done all the doors, I'll do that.
So once all the doors are wedged, you regroup
Yep.
apart from Caesora in front of the main doors while Caesora has a look.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
right. The main doors, there were a couple of statues of saints either side of the main door, but they've had their faces crudely hacked off, smashed and defaced.
It's blasphemy.
Right, so Caesora, you squirrel your way up onto the roof, where the little bell tower is, and see that it's been sabotaged. You pull your hood over your head so your skin doesn't reflect too much light, and peer down inside. The air down there is it's thick with smoke and a foul kind of incense that burns slightly at your throat and nostrils as you breathe it in. You peer down. You peer down as best you can, and it seems like the brothers are all clustered at the front. And on the altar, everything else has been overturned on the altar.
Yeah.
And there's just this chalice sat there, a clean, bright-looking silver chalice that seems to have its own light, like it's glowing from within.
Are the monks in prayer?
They seem to be in some kind of prayer.
How high up am I in the savvy?
Do you speak the Latin equivalent?
Let
Let me check your sheet.
Back here. I do.
I speak,
but he's the one there. So, Caesora, language.
And yet, Italian basic.
Old English, Romanian, Baltic. No, okay. See, you don't know what they're saying, but it doesn't sound particularly holy to you.
How high up am I?
So the tower's about another 30 feet on top of the. About another 30 feet on top of the main building. So you're about 60 feet up.
With my rope, 10 meters of rope, I don't think it's going to be long enough. But
No,
I'm just wondering.
That's about 30
I was
feet.
going to make a lasso and get the challenge up.
No, you don't think it'll reach. Plus, you think you'll be noticed. Yeah, the brothers are all hooded and they all seem to be chanting. You think the abbot is leading the prayer?
Does he stand out?
Yes, he does. He has grander looking robes of a different color. Their robes are all black, tied off with white ropes. His is red with a black rope.
Okay, how many monks are around him? Are they like in a circle or semicircle, half circle?
There's 12 monks and the abbot makes 13.
Oh, the lucky 13. Right. Well, I'll take note of where they all are and discreetly, silently come back down.
Okay. So, yeah, you count them and you double count them. As you're about to turn away, when the abbot points to one of the monks, and the monk comes forward. So you sort of hang about a moment to see what's actually happening. The abbot hands the monk a scourge, and the monk begins whipping his back over and over and over again. And after he's done 13 strokes, He hands the scourge back and turns. And when he turns, you can see that all the flesh has been stripped from his back. You can see his spine and his ribs. And there's just tattered remnants of the robe sort of intermingled with the wounds. But the flesh is all dry and rotted and cured.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
Okay. And then you can...
As I said, right, I'll discreetly take note of what I saw, how many there are, blah, blah, blah. Come back down stealthily. Right. There's 13 of them, including the head abbot. Yes, the chalice is in the middle. I witnessed... How can a monk who's undead flag himself? But one of them flagged himself 13 shots with a cilice. Is it a cilice? No, cilice is on the leg. It's what do you call it? The flail thing.
Scourge.
Like that's the way. Scourge. Yeah. He whacked himself 13 times with a scourge, and then gave it back to the head abbot. So the head abbot does look like who could be leading this little monastery of undeadness. So possibly Magi, possibly an evil cleric here. Any ideas, Kimasabi?
I have a plan, but I don't know if you'll be happy with it.
Who me or the rest of the group?
I'll take out from my backpack my lantern, tinder, and oil, and hand it to you.
Who me?
Set fire to the bell tower.
You want me to set fire to the bell tower? You want me to go all the way back up there and set fire to the bell tower? What are you planning?
Burn them out.
Well, how about I make some chuck this Greek fire on the head abbot?
Ooh.
How about that?
Do you have any Greek fire?
I don't have any Greek fire.
That fire thing, that fire
Do
implement
you have enough oil to start quite a nasty fire in the bell tower, cause it to fall on top of them?
That's going to take some time.
Yes.
They'll probably try and put the fire out, which could...
How about how many doors actually led into this actual bit where they're all in prayer, James?
It's all one big building, really, so all of those doors.
So basically, all the doors are done except for the big main double doors, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Is the bell... Sorry.
No, you go.
Is the bell above the monks?
It's slightly to the east of where they are. So you've got the square of the tower, right? And then if you have an imaginary second tower to the left of that one, that's where the altar and everything is.
As if there'd be a way of maybe cutting the bell loose so it went down and created little unholy havoc amongst them. That would...
I've got an idea. How about I climb back up, use my spider venom on one of my crossbow bolts, and shoot the bugger's head off? How's that sound? Silently, discreetly, painful.
And then the remaining monks will be alerted, and
they'll come running out, so you guys can have a bit of a volley. How's that sound?
Indeed, but you're not the one who's going to have to face down. How many monks did you say? 15?
12.
There's 12 monks, including the head abbot.
And the abbot makes 13.
How wide are the doors? There's so many that can come at us.
The doors at your end are double doors, so you could walk 4 abreast through those doors. All the other doors are single passage.
But if we're outside, 4, maybe 3 fight, but stay 4, we can all welly in on them a bit easier.
Catch them by surprise, yeah.
Pardon me.
Just an idea.
But does venom work on dead things?
Well, I've got spider venom, I've got medium poison, so Which one would work on undead, James?
You have no idea. You haven't tried.
I'm an assassin. I should know.
Yeah, you kill
You haven't
things.
tried, yeah.
You don't kill dead things. Yeah.
Well, maybe sure.
If they're already dead, it's outside of your jurisdiction.
Right, fine. I'm just going to use the spider venom because that seems to do. Does that do the most damage?
I can't remember. It should say on the sheet.
I'm just looking at my cat sheet right now. Medium poison 3d6 versus strength, and that or Vio or spider venom 2 applications 3d6 does, and then that does that.
Yeah.
I think I will go for the spider venom. I'm being kind.
Okay. So
I'm going to get 2 crossbow bolts, which have already been blessed, into the spider venom.
Okay.
And that's my. Sorry?
Is poison counted as evil? Would that nullify any blessing effect? I don't know if there's a trade.
I don't think poison's inherently evil. After all, God made so many creatures with venom.
Yeah.
I know, but it varies from.
All things vile and ugly.
So I'm going to do 2 crossbow bolts in the spider venom. So that's my spider venom being used.
Yeah.
And I'm going to climb back up to the bell tower.
Is everyone else okay with this plan?
I'm much more in favour of the idea of destroying the ladder and then setting fire to the bell tower. Burn them.
I might have some reservations if it actually causes the entire chapel to burn.
Yeah, we don't want to damage the actual relic. Yeah, in the big conflagration.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to take out the head abbot. Head abbot, if he's taken out, we've got more of a chance to take the others on because they'll be in a state of disarray.
There's no reason you can't soak the tower in oil, then take a pot shot at the abbot, and then if that doesn't work out, set everything on fire.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, plans within plans, wheels within wheels.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
Fire within poison.
I think we should stick to our sort of tried and tested. Keep it simple.
Yeah. The well, if they want to try and put out a fire, is right near the herb garden, which is outside the front entrance. So, they're going to come your way anyway. Odds are.
Nice.
Right. So Caesura squirrels his way back up, cocks his crossbow with the first of the 2 poisoned bolts, and then climb halfway down the ladder and try and get a clear shot on the abbot.
Yep.
Okay. He's got his back to you, and is doing some kind of veneration with the monks. They're taking
fornication in the monastery, whatever next.
They're taking turns to drink, or it appears to be to drink from a cup and to eat something. You're pretty sure it's not a cracker. Right.
No, it's something from the lumberjack's wife.
Right, no penalty to your attack, because you've got as much time to aim as you want, and he has no idea you're going to do it, so just roll under your attack.
Here goes nothing.
Were you aiming anywhere in particular?
Head.
Okay.
I always go for the head. Every time I use my crossbow, if I can, I always use my go for the head.
And you got
if
2,
not,
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, the bolt flies absolutely true and straight, whooshes between the wooden framework of the inner tower, and smacks into the back of the abbot's head with a tink sound, bounces off and lands on the floor.
Oh,
bad. Second one.
Okay, you quickly load your crossbow as he turns, points a bony finger towards where you are and issues an unholy shriek.
Am I getting a deja vu here?
all the monks start to move towards you. Okay, do you want to make a second shot?
1.
You aiming for him again?
Yep, head again.
Okay, the bolt flies straight into the hood, though you can't see his face because of the shadow. There's that tink sound again, and the bolt just ricochets off and scatters along the floor.
Right.
The first monks have reached the base of the tower and are starting to climb it.
Well,
I'll get the fuck out of dodge.
Okay, so you squirrel back up before they can get to you. Are you setting fire to it then?
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, a couple of strikes and the fire spreads out across the roof and then follows the oil down, sort of igniting the ladder, and you get back, scramble back away as fast as you can.
Yep.
Right. You can all hear this commotion, this shriek that makes your back muscles tense and shiver, and then moaning, and then the sort of woof as the fire goes up and the flames start to spread. The doors start to bounce and rattle as Caesura runs his way back along the roof and climbs back down to join you. Then there's
sorry.
No, then there's a pause, but you can hear the noises getting closer to the front doors.
So yeah, I draw my sword and like face the door. It's like the rope won't hold for long.
Yeah, Mike, ready?
These crossbow bolts were blessed as well, remember, James?
I know.
Yeah, okay.
The monks won't allow their sacred relic to burn. They'll have picked it up by now.
Right. So you tied off these doors, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the sound of bodies hitting into the door, groaning sounds, the occasional chant in Latin. Does anyone speak the ancient language?
I've got intermediate in it.
They're chanting blasphemies, horrendous things said about God and various saints and figures from the litanies. It's quite shocking.
They've awakened. I mean,
right. The doors bounce and rattle. A couple of the iron bolts pop free. The wood starts to splinter, and then finally the door gives way. Sort of smashes outwards on its hinges. The abbot has smashed the doors open with the. Well, they don't have a cross. This I think Celentine's sort of sun-based, isn't it? But yeah, one of the big holy symbols from inside the chapel he's using as a club, and he used that to smash the doors open.
So the second they swing open, I just run forwards and slam my sword into the first one I see.
Okay. So you've got the abbot in the middle, and then there's 6 monks on each side, starting to emerge.
I guess I hit the abbot then.
Okay.
It's the first one I see.
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
You shout out a battle cry and charge forward at him. All right. Let's see. All right. Take 7 away from your attack and roll to attack.
1!
Nice. If you one-shot the abbot, I'll be displeased. Okay, so that automatically bypasses armor anyway. It's a magical weapon, so yeah, roll damage. Twice.
6, 3... Wait, hold on. 9, 15.
Is that for both?
Yeah, 15 in total.
Okay.
Bloody hell.
Right. You roar in outrage at their blasphemies and charge forward. You reach the top of the stairs, and sort of cover your body with your shield and drive your sword through him, right to the hilt. His flesh burns and sizzles around the blade of Valandar, and looking past him, sort of down into the burning interior of the chapel, you can see that the chalice on the altar. And behind it, the rear stained glass window, this massive round stained glass window that at one time would have been the sun, is now some vile demonic symbol with the sunlight streaming through it in red.
My one part of the plan has failed. They didn't try to save the chalice.
Yeah, he sort of clings to you with his clawed hands and hisses "Crusader" in your ear. Right, Caesura.
I'm going to go for the head abbot. Why the fuck not?
Okay. So what are you doing? Just stabbing him?
Yep.
Okay.
Magic blade.
Are you going for anywhere in particular?
No, I'm using my magic sword this time. So
Okay.
I'm just going
All right.
to...
So take 7 away from your attack and roll.
Oh, you fucking bastard! 1. I love this D20. I want this D20's children.
You're gonna have to come to your house and confiscate that dice.
Anytime, Jim. Anytime.
Okay, roll damage twice.
First one, 10 plus D6 now. That is 5.
No, just roll the damage. The second dice number. Don't need to worry about the armor penetration. So just roll the damage.
5 for the first one. 5 for the first
yeah.
6. And for the second D6, 6 plus 1, so that's 7.
Okay, so you've both driven him through with your blades, and he's just kind of standing there impaled, still uttering his curses and insults.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not a lich by any chance, Jim.
Oh, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Right, Becca's turn.
Trying to push him back into the flames.
They're dangerously exposed to the monks.
Yes, I'm going to wade into the monks and trying to decapitate one.
Go for it.
Oh, that's a miss. 16. No. Unless the defense is a 6 or less.
The defense is only 1.
Oh.
So that's a hit then.
That's a hit, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to penetrate the armor. So damage.
8 hits of damage.
Okay.
Do you use a claymore, Becca, by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially it's a claymore. Yeah. Right. You charge up using the momentum of your charge in your swing and lop off one of the monk's arms at the elbow, but disturbingly it doesn't seem to bother him. It does push his hood back off his face, and when you see what's revealed beneath, it's dead flesh, but it has been pierced and sewn and cut. The lips have been drawn back from the teeth. The teeth have been filed into points. It's like they've been deliberately trying to make themselves even worse.
Goram Reavers.
Right. Madrock.
Okay. Usually the safest place is behind the barbarian, so I'll be along there and I'll try and finish the job on the one she started.
Okay. So, -1 to your attack and roll.
Okay, so that negates the +1 for Valandel, so a 1.
So
everything's coming up Millhouse.
Hey.
Right.
Yeah.
In any other game, this would be really shit.
Oh yeah. But they roll true to full.
Right. You sort of come around the side of this one that's reeling from Becca's mighty blow, and just hack into the side of its neck with your sword and bear it down to the ground, and it seems to be laying still, so you press your foot on its head and pull your sword back out.
Nice.
Right. Now the hordes of undead.
I think that's the first.
This will be fun.
Right. So...
I don't know if anyone can see that.
Just got to break your dice out of dice jar. This is your time to redeem yourself. Nice.
Right. So Becca. 3 of them move in at you with teeth and claws. One of them, armed with a scourge, whips it at you. What's your defense? Or how do you want to split your defense between the 3 attackers?
My defense is 14, so I suppose better go 5-5-4.
5-5-4. Okay. Okay. The scourge misses you, or tangles around your blade at least, and you manage to parry it away. You kick another one of these zombie priests back. The last one manages to get in your side and dig its claws into your waist. What's your armor rating?
5 with my brand new magic mail.
Yep. Its fingers drag across the mail and sort of spark and burn and scorch as they do so, and it recoils with a hiss of pain.
Magic mail.
Yep. Right, what's Madrog's defense? You've got to split it 2 ways. So.
It's only with the sword 6, so I guess 3.
So 3 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you managed to ward them off, sort of wildly flailing with your sword, so they don't have an opening to get at you.
Oh.
Right. So 2 of them practically climb over the abbot to get at Elaine. How do you want to split your defense 2 ways?
Yeah.
Okay, so
2 ways.
So what's your defense?
My defense is 13, so that's 6 and 7.
6 and 7. Okay. And what's your armor rating?
My armor rating is 5.
It's horrifying to have them scrabbling and biting at the plate that covers you, but they don't seem to be getting through at all. What's Caesora's defense? You've only got to defend against one of them.
9.
999 Kartoffelkopf. Yeah, you just kick at his shin and knock him back out of the way. Sort of slides down a couple of the steps before scrambling back up. Now, interestingly, 3 of them have broken free of the pack and are all headed towards Abbas and sort of leap and throw themselves with hatred at him. So,
I've been standing here doing anything. Nothing.
so what's Abbas's defense split 3 ways?
My defense is 6, so 2 on each.
2 on each. Okay, what's your armor rating?
My armor rating is 3.
Okay, you don't have a shield, do you?
No.
Take 6 wounds as they pile onto you, sort of bear you down, biting and scratching and stabbing with their fingers.
Ouch.
Okay, so you're under a pile of zombies, but it is your turn.
Right, I'm going to yell for God and Saint. What's he called? Saint Leon, and just go at them with my spear.
Okay.
Try and actually hit one of them for a change.
Right. Their defense is 1, so.
I get the +2 with the reliquary against undead as well, don't I?
Yeah.
Nice. Under 4.
So this is what you're for.
Under 40. Yep, got one.
Yay!
Finally. Roll damage.
Roll damage, yeah.
Do you need me to make an armor bypass or not?
No, you don't need to.
All right, okay. 9 points of damage.
Is that with the bonuses?
No. Is that +2 for the reliquary apply to the damage as well?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. All right. And then that'll be 11.
Okay. So yeah, you get borne down under these things, and then sort of use your staff use your spear like a quarterstaff to shove them off you, and then stab sideways into one of them as it falls back. The blade stabs straight into its chest, and the body just arches up into the blade, shrivels, and turns into ash under the blow of the spear.
Yay.
Right.
Yeah, one of them did take me down to half health.
You took him down to no health.
There's 2 of them. Right. The abbot pulls himself off your blades, and there's dust falling out of the wounds, and a strong, noxious herbal smell coming off him. And he swings wildly, basically using this gigantic church cross as a club, aiming for Elaine. So This is a new turn, so you've got all your defense back. So how much defense do you want to put towards him?
Guess all my defense. I mean,
all of it? Okay, so what's your defense then?
13.
Good thing you did. It just very narrowly misses you. You duck under this swing, and this enormous cross swings over the top of your head, smashes into the steps, and shatters a couple of the stone pavings on top. So, yeah, that probably would have taken your head off.
Ooh.
Right. Caesora.
I'm going to... Oh, this is going to be sneaky. I'm going to try and chop off one of his legs.
Okay. So, he puts his defense against you. So, what's your attack?
17.
You need to roll a 1 to 3.
4.
So you just narrowly miss. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. So you lash out, it slashes through part of his robe, but fails to connect.
No problem.
Elaine, he's now open, however.
Okay. So I've just ducked underneath this cross and just narrowly missed the top of my head. So I'll lash out with my sword and try and bring it down on his outstretched arms.
Okay.
And lock them both off at the elbow.
Okay, go for it. So yeah, just under your attack.
Oh, I actually rolled really high. I've got to check my attack. My attack is quite high as well. Yep, no, I hit.
Okay, roll damage.
Okay. Uh, 5 points of damage.
Okay. So it cuts into the flesh of his arm, hits the bone, and sort of skims along, and takes most of the muscle and flesh off his forearm, and then sort of hacks into the cross, and then you have to yank it free again. He's hurt, but he's not quite down. Right, Becca.
Okay, so this zombie monk was dropped, isn't it?
Yep.
Medrock dropped it.
Yeah.
Right, so I shall give a nice overhead swing and try and decapitate the next zombie monk.
Go for it. Take one away from your attack and roll.
A two-handed sword of Valandar. Yeah, that's a hit, 10.
Okay, roll damage.
It's going to hit all day. Yeah, 12 hits of damage.
Okay. Yeah, so you recover your swords back the other way and then swing in the opposite direction. You catch him in the neck with almost the tip of your blade and lop his head clean off. That one drops.
Technique. See that?
She didn't think it too many. Right, Madrox go.
That was a Slain reference, wasn't it? Nice.
It was indeed.
Okay, I'm not actually needed on this fight, so I'm gonna, if I can tumble backwards and whop one of the ones on the priest.
Yep. Yeah, you twist, turn, and move on to the ones that are mobbing Abbas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, go for it. It's not defending against you, so just roll under your attack.
So 12 or less then. It's 18, 16. Yeah.
16.
No.
Missed.
Okay.
Yeah. With all the spear play and everything going on, there's a lot of movement, so you can't really see an opening to get in and make a stab at the moment.
You don't have to make excuses for my crapness.
Right, now it's the zombies. Right.
Zombie.
Right. So all four on the left are now going for Becca. So how do you want to split your defense?
Muted.
Right, yeah, yes. So my defense is...
Sorry, three that's left, so it's all three that are going for you.
Yeah, my defense of 14, yes, so it's 554.
554. Okay, the Scourge lashes out and misses you again. The other doesn't find an opening. One does, but doesn't penetrate your armor. So it just slams into your body, and you just body check him and shove him back away from you.
I like this new magic mail. This is good stuff. This
does seem to be being lucky for you. Right.
It's all technique.
Right. It's all in the dice. It's all in the dice.
So there were 2 of them still on Abbas, 2 on Elaine, and 1 on Caesura. So starting with Abbas, split your defense between 2 of them.
3 and 3, please.
3 and 3. Okay. How much health you got left?
6.
Not anymore.
Oh no!
You're down to 0 health. So that's not dead yet, but it is unconscious. So you managed to ward the first one off, but the other one jumps forward, grabs hold of your spear, even though it burns him to touch it, and bites the back of your wrist, so tearing through muscle. Unbearable pain flares through your body, and you black out. Right. Which means you don't get to go. Right, Elaine, how are you splitting your defense?
I don't think I have any defense.
Oh, you don't, because you used it all on the abbot, didn't you? Okay. Yeah, so these 2 zombie monks are scrabbling at you, but neither's able to land an effective blow. Caesura, your defense is
9.
Yeah, he's pushed back from your earlier blow and can't get close enough to you. Every time you stab, he backs off, and he just can't get to you. So he just opens his mouth and hisses at you, with the foul stench of the grave running from whatever remains of his innards. And Abbas is unconscious. Now, do you continue to die? I can't remember. Death and dying. Damage.
It's gone on minus
I think it's only if he's on -6 that
yeah,
that's fine, I think.
It's once you get to -3, you're dead, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if you have to stabilize or anything while you're down.
I think it's only if he has if he's bleeding out. I think if you think he's bleeding out.
Yeah, I don't think he would be. It's not a shock attack. Armor. I want to be sure I've got this right, so give me a sec.
Yeah, I'll look up as well.
Games Mastering Death, 121. No, that's about coming back from death. That's not what we want.
I found it, James. It's under Wounds and Recovery on Combat, page 68.
68. Okay.
Well, that's it in the hardback edition. It might be dissimilar in yours.
I think it's the same. Wounds and Recovery, yeah. Character who falls unconscious rolls 1d6 at the end of every minute, every 10 combat rounds. So, okay, we don't have to worry about it. Because it'll probably be over by then. And you do have a healing potion, so. Right.
Oh.
Okay. So we're on to the next turn. So the abbot's still up and about. He's going to have another horrific swing at Elaine. Putting all your defense there again?
Yep.
Which was?
My defense is 13.
Okay. Right. Again, it just narrowly misses you. You manage to twist yourself to one side, and the cross comes down an overhead strike and breaks up some more of the stairs. Caesura.
I'm going to carve this guy's head off with his head. He's giving me a headache.
Okay.
He spoke too much.
Take 7 away from your attack and roll.
9.
So
I do it.
So what's your attack?
17. Take away 7, 10, 9.
It's a hit. Okay.
Yep. So what's here? Combat technique. Armor piercing +1 sword. What's that? English. Combat technique. Armor piercing.
It means you add 1 to your armor bypass rolls.
All right. Okay.
With piercing weapons. Yeah. Okay. Roll damage.
On the D8, that's 7.
Okay, and it's +1 sword, +2 sword, isn't it? You only roll the second dice after the slash. The first one's for bypassing armor, so you only roll the second one for damage.
I got a 6 second time round.
Okay, is that with the bonus to damage?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So you swing your sword out. It hits where his neck should be, and it makes a loud clang noise and rebounds. But his head topples off onto the steps, leaving a stump. But that head isn't a head; it's a statue's head.
That's why it went tink. Nice.
The headless corpse doesn't seem to be slowed down at all by losing its head. And his blasphemous chanting continues to issue from the stump. Elaine.
It's a midget in a suit.
2 midgets.
What necromancy is this? To hell with you! And I'll just try and viscerate him.
Okay.
Powerful blow to the torso.
Take 7 away from your attack and roll.
Once I actually have to check. 7. That means I have to roll an 11 or under. Exactly 11.
Okay, roll damage.
Oh, bollocks. I rolled a 1.
1 damage.
Damage.
But with the bonus?
4.
4. Okay, that's enough to finish him.
Oh, thank God.
Right, so you swing down trying to cut him in half. Hacks into his head, but he's wearing some kind of stiff leather collar that was obviously holding the statue's head on. So your sword doesn't penetrate as far as you thought, but you drive him down onto his knees with the force of the blow. Pull the sword up and hack down again and again and again, and the body just crumbles away into ash with one final curse. Right.
Chalice! Grab the chalice!
Becca's go.
Okay, well, I'm continuing my my overhead pendulum style
Left,
attack.
right, left, right.
Yeah, and to take out the next zombie monk.
Go for it. So -1 from your attack. The one with the scourge.
Oh yeah. He's winding me up here.
Yeah.
13. That's a hit.
Okay. And roll damage.
And 11 hits damage.
Okay. Right, it cleaves into his side and severs him in half at the waist.
Rock and roll.
And the 2 halves no longer move. Leaving just 2 facing you. So this is quite effective, this hacking backwards and forwards luck. Right. Madrock. Abbas is down.
Yeah. Yelling out, man down, and try and swing at one of these boards.
Okay. Go for it. They're not defending against you, so just roll under your attack.
Okay, so I did it. So that's my D8. That is. Oh, 3 damage, including the +1 for the sword.
Better than a kick in the tits.
Well,
yeah. So you sort of stab repeatedly at this thing's back, and it finally seems to notice you and turns its head.
Nope.
Right. So
man, me down.
you got their attention off Abbas at least, as they both leap at you. Divide your defense between 2.
Because no good deed goes unpunished.
Exactly.
So, 4 and 4 again.
So what's that? 3 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of rapidly backpedal. I wanted your attention, but not this much attention. And they sort of scramble and leap after you on all fours.
I'd have dressed
Snapping
as a bar boy if I wanted that much attention.
Right, and Abbas lies unconscious on the ground. In, as you say, the mud. Right. The remaining zombies. There's still 2 on Alain and 1 on Cesora. Alain defended himself against the abbot this turn, but they just sort of flail uselessly against your armor. Cesora, it fails to land a blow again. You're just too quick for them. Their dead flesh can't keep up with you. Right, so new turn. Cesora.
I'm going to attack the head up, but if he still stands.
No, he's done.
Oh, he's down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Ice racer him. Chopped him around.
How many's on me?
There's 1 zombie on you, 2 zombies on Alain, 2 on Madrock, and Becca's facing off against 2 on the other side.
Meanwhile, as I'm sort of like dealing with the undead priests that are like leaping and scratching at me, I'm just sort of like waving towards the chalice and going like, "Get the chalice! I can hold them."
Yeah,
How far is the chalice for me, Jim?
It's the other end of the chapel, so about 2 turns running.
Which we've set on fire.
Yeah, as if to emphasise the importance of Alain's order, a flaming beam falls from the roof with a crash into the pews.
I'm going to go for the chalice, Indiana Jones style.
Okay, you start sprinting down. So you're about halfway into the chapel. There's all kinds of weird mystical sigils painted on the walls everywhere. There's dead bodies propped up in the pews. It's horrific and weird in here. But you're closing in on the chalice. Right, Alain.
Me, yeah, I'll turn back to the one that was clawing at my shield and try and cave its head in with the pommel of my sword.
Okay, go for it.
I always like to give my attack descriptions a little bit of flourish. I rolled a 7.
Okay, I think that's
that'll.
Hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And roll damage.
3, so 6 total.
Okay, so yeah, you sort of hold it on your shield as it's trying to scrabble around it and pound it a couple of times in the top of the head, caving in part of its skull, but it's still going. Right, Becca. Another wild 2-handed cleave.
Yeah, didn't they attack me last time? I think
Yeah, they did, but they just ricocheted off your armor.
Okay, yeah. It came like in the old overhead swing ball attack.
Left, right, over the top. Left, right, over the top. Yeah.
Yeah, it's technique, isn't it?
Yeah. Good. Well practiced muscle memory. So take 1 away from your attack and roll.
4. Yeah, that's a hit every day of the week.
Okay. And damage?
7.
7
hits.
Okay, your blade cleaves like 2/3 of the way through its torso before you have to yank it back out because you can't keep the impetus going. It's kind of hanging, almost severed in half, but it's still clawing at you. Pretty tough, these things, all things considered. Right, Madrock.
Have another go at the one I'd injured.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. 11.
So that's a hit.
Did you say it was 1 defense?
No, they're going all out at you, so no defense.
No, oh, sweet.
So that's a hit.
Only hit by 1 still, but yeah.
Okay, and damage?
8.
8 damage.
Oh, yeah, including the +1.
Right. You'd sort of constantly backing away from them, so then your foot hits the bottom of the steps. It's going to be a bit awkward to back up any further, so you lunge forward right as it's jumping for you and impale it through whatever's left of its heart.
The cornered rat technique.
Right. You shake it off your sword, and there's just the 1 left facing off against you. Right, so Becca still has 2 on her, so how are you splitting your defense?
7 and 7.
Yeah.
Just
You're so much bigger than them and so much more powerful than them, and they're all sort of dried out flesh. They don't weigh very much, so you're kind of able to just throw them around as they try and get at you. So they don't land any useful blows. The one remaining zombie there goes after Madrock. What's your defense?
6.
6. Okay. You use the momentum driving forward to sort of shoulder barge it back out the way, and it's unable to get at you. So Elaine's still got 2 on him. So how are you splitting your defense?
Evenly. 6 and 7.
Again, no effective blows. And Caesora's not hit either. Without the abbot, they seem to be diminishing and weakening. Right. New turn, Caesora.
Going for the chalice.
Which one? The chalice. Yeah, you were running after the chalice, weren't you? Okay, yeah, you sprint up to the altar. The sort of velvet coverings over the altar are ablaze now as well. You grab the chalice. It feels miraculously cool despite the heat all around it, and it has water in it. So as you turn to start to make your way back, another flaming beam falls from the roof. What's your evasion?
7.
Okay. Right. You easily hurl yourself away from it, and as the roof starts to cave in behind you, you start running back. Right. Elaine.
I'm going to cosh the one that I just hit on the head again. And cave its skull in.
Okay, go for it. Take 1 away from your attack and roll.
Yeah, I hit 3.
Okay. Minimum damage you can do. That one's still going to be dead. So.
Oh, jeez. Finally, I roll quite high on my attack. 6, so 9 total.
Yeah, you crush its skull in. You know, put your fist through the top of it, really, and shake it off your shield. That just leaves the 1 on you. Right. Becca's go.
Okay, I'm going to divert to the fresh one, so to ignore the wounded one.
Yep. So
I'm going to try I'm going to try the classic death blow, right clavicle to left hip.
Mm-hmm. So
full overhead power, attack down.
Okay, take 1 away from your attack and roll.
11 has a hit.
And damage.
Oh, 13. Max damage.
Perfect blow. Cleft in twain. So that just leaves the damaged one with you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Madrock.
Still got 1 on me. Yeah. Give it a go. Nah. 14.
So miss. All right, you stab and swing and blow. It's kind of like crab jumping left to right, snapping its teeth, trying to get at you. You stab out a couple of times, but don't manage to land a blow. Okay. So what's left? There's 1 on Becca, 1 on Madrock. No, they're just flailing ineffectually at your armor. Okay, so we hit the next turn. As Caesora comes running out of the chapel, sunlight strikes the chalice, And as it does so, the rest of the monks just dissolve into ash, leaving you all standing there.
Healing potion into the priest. I don't know anyone else here can heal.
So that's 7 health back for Abbas.
Yeah. I think it's his healing potion. It's the one that was given to him at the beginning from the hobgoblin.
Hmm. So you appear to have recovered that safely. Yes, and you pour the potion into poor old Abbas's mouth and watch his wounds close up.
As the undead monk sort of like crumbles to dust, what's the main guy? What's his situation? The main priest.
The abbot, you killed him.
Abbot. Yeah, but like, did he crumble as well?
There's more of him left than the others, more of a skeleton, but yeah, he's double dead.
Before exiting the doorway of the chapel, I just pick up what remains of his tattered robes and bones and toss it into the flames.
To burn.
Die!
Okay, I just need to look up a couple of things quickly.
To hell with you.
Well, that's probably where he was headed anyway.
Oh, Becca will blow the dust and detritus off herself, and
Yeah. Yep, that mail's paid for itself already, and considering you found
I'm
it...
impressed with that. Yeah, drop 4 of them on my own. Help with Madrock for the 5th. Held the whole flank up on my own.
Yeah, the wound on Abbas's wrist has left a nice sort of bite mark scar, but with the aid of the potion, he doesn't seem to have torn any tendons or severed any fingers or anything. Seems to be well enough.
More worried about diseases, people getting bitten, but I wouldn't know how to.
Yeah, well, the healing potion should help with that as well. So it's nearly 10 o'clock. Probably don't have time to do another bit. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Is that okay?
It was a lot of fun.
What's the plan? You gonna do the? Because this, I really like this mission. I know we've spent like 2 sessions on it already, but
well, there's still the tower, which is more of a singular encounter. There's the ruined villa, which is like a mini dungeon. I mean, we can do the other mop-up parts in the next session if you want.
depends on you.
Crystals is like a campaign thing, isn't it?
Yeah. The Magician's Grave is a singular encounter, and the Harpies is a straightforward combat encounter.
Once we've pacified the woods, I mean, it'll just become an ordinary wood, won't it? Then there's no evil left.
Yeah, pretty much. And then yeah, and it would weaken the Duke Darien before you face him, which is the next proper adventure. Now that's more of a proper dungeon, so there aren't going to be sort of leftover encounters or anything.
Don't spoil it.
Well, that's not spoiling it to tell you it's a dungeon.
I get the feeling that some people here have actually done this before, because they're official modules, aren't they?
They are. I am shifting and changing things a bit to keep it fresh, though.
Yeah, I've never done any of this,
and so far everyone's being quite good about spoilers and things. So
I'm really getting Ian Livingstone vibes out of this.
Yeah, well, the authors, Dave Morris and I always remember Dave and I always forget the other one. Oliver Johnson. Oliver Johnson and Jamie Thompson as well. He was involved. They did do a series of solo playbooks as well, some of which shared the same universe as Dragon Warriors. So
Blood Soul.
I've got the Fighting Fantasy book that he did, and the what's it called?
Three-way war.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, I've got how many of them are there? 6 of them. Yeah, I've got some of his books. I didn't actually know that he was the guy who wrote Dragon Warriors until like I looked him up online, and I was like, oh, I've read those.
Is it my imagination, or did I see correctly the other day there that was online? Final Fantasy have came back out, but they're now, rather than charging $4.95 per book, they're now like £10-15 a book.
I used to pick them up for like 50 pence.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's about $5.99 on Amazon, I think, each now.
Yeah,
they republished them not so long ago.
Yeah, they've done them as apps and things as well. And there's a guy who's republished Out of the Pit and Titan, which are the worlds for Fighting Fantasy.
And there was Maelstrom as well, and Dungeoneer as well.
I have pretty much every single one. I had a bit of a problem because I didn't realize it, but where I was keeping them got quite badly infected with mold, and I lost a few of them. But I've got pretty much a complete collection.
Nice.
What Fighting Fantasy?
Yeah, I mean every single like all the other stuff, like the Black Sands books, the oh god, what's the one the side thing he did with
Riddling Reaver.
Oh jeez, no. There's like a series of like books that he did on the side of Fighting Fantasy.
Oh yes, and I had those. The novels.
Sorcery.
It's good. Sorcery, yes.
Sorcery, yeah.
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? I've pretty much got every single one except for the ones I lost.
They did a trilogy of Fighting Fantasy novels. I had those years ago. I ain't got them anymore. They were all right.
The sorcery books are amazing, but yeah, this gives me such massive that vibes.
Well, it's all British authors as well, I think, which helps. I think there's a definite. You can't put your finger on it, but there is something different about British fantasy and writers. I don't know what it is.
I just like the random encounters as well.
Yeah,
it's like some of them are just like so out there. It's like in a lot of like modern modules, like everything makes sense and has like a theme to it, which I get. I think it's them trying to like be better at writing it.
Yeah,
but I like kind of like the randomness of like you're going through a dungeon and you just meet an old wizard in a hall. Yeah. It's like, what? Huh? Hello?
Just hanging out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a trap.
As a GM, I quite like semi-random elements and then figuring out a way to make them make sense in context. So, yeah, even if you guys never pick up on them, it's still fun for me. You know?
There is a complete self-contained tabletop RPG called Advanced Fighting Fantasy, which just uses that 2d6 system.
Oh yeah, I've got that. That's the they try to make their own like version of D&D. Yeah,
that was re-released a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think much of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's too simple. It's too far the other way. Even the advanced version, I think, it just
you could pretty much play anything you could put your mind to, really, as well.
Yeah,
it's very open-ended.
I mean, this is a pretty simple system, but I'm finding that with us putting in the descriptions and interpreting the dice rolls, it doesn't feel as static and dull as even D&D does normally.
One thing that I love though from the Fighting Fantasy series, especially the Advanced Fighting Fantasy, is the world. Titan.
Yeah.
Like I've got the world book for Titan as well, and like it's pretty much the like all the worlds, like the Forgotten Realms and the whatever the Pathfinder world is. See, I can't remember it. They're quite samey and forgettable. Galarian, yes, that's it.
Galarian.
But the Titan is like one of the ones that like I really could get into and like read like all of it. Like would like to set adventures in there.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think we'll call that a night then. I'll level up the characters. Does anyone have any particular thoughts in downtime for anything they want to do? I mean, that'll only be a few days, but
study the chalice a bit more.
yeah.
Oh, no, did I find out what that drum does?
Yeah, you haven't found that out yet, have you?
Was it the black mahogany silver chased drum?
Yeah, it's magic. Basically, you need to get Caradon up to a high enough level to be able to tell more things about magic stuff.
How can you learn ambidexterity, Jim?
How can you learn about what? Sorry.
Ambidexterity.
Yeah. So there's a knightly skill called main gauche, which is basically the ambidexterity rules. So I'm going to bend the rules, and next time you get to take a skill, I'll let you take main gauche.
Dankeschön.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Next game Saturday, 7:30 p.m. and I guess we'll do some more mop up on Saturday.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So let me know as soon as if you can make it. Message me on Discord or Facebook or wherever, and I'll book you in.
Okay.
All right. See you later, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Cheers, thanks, bye bye.
All right.